15 minutes past the hour here now. Wikileaks, it's still up and running this morning with some help from a Swiss web host that has so far refused all U.S. and French demands to take it offline. So with word out today that the site has now exposed what amounts to a secret list of potential targets for terrorists to strike against the U.S., a lot of people asking the question, why doesn't the U.S. government take action? Maybe even cyber warfare to knock Wikileaks off the web for good. Let me bring in Jamie Smith now. He's a former CIA officer who is now CEO of global security and intelligence firm SCG. SCG International is a private intelligence firm that sometimes does work for the government. Sir, thank you so much for being here. First things first, if the U.S. government wanted to, could they covertly take this website offline?
Yes, TJ, good morning. The U.S. government's got the capability through various agencies and Defense Department units to knock WikiLeaks off the map for good. And just one quick example that the public's aware of already is the Stuxnet virus that attacked the Iranian nuclear system. Whomever created that, whichever nation state created that, it was very effective and it was a complex virus. Our country is the best in the world at this, and if we wanted to, yeah, it would be gone.
So in your estimation right now, why not?
Well, up to this point, WikiLeaks has released classified information. However, the information has not arisen to the level that makes it a national security threat in terms of our nation's survival. So it's a military decision as opposed to a political decision. There are some administration officials that are embarrassed, and our diplomats are going to have a tough time executing their mission. However, nothing that's been released is threatening the survival of our nation, and if we were to unleash our offensive capabilities, what would happen would be that our enemies would then be able to understand and counter in any future attacks that they might have planned against us what our capabilities are. It happens on the battlefield all the time. Every time our forces go anywhere, the Iranians, the Chinese, the Russians send their intelligence officers, and they study what we do. It would be the exact same thing with our cyber capability. We want to keep that under wraps until we absolutely need it.
But Jamie, is that an important distinction to make? You said it doesn't necessarily threaten the survivability of this nation going forward, but several administration officials have said there are things in there that could possibly put the lives at risk of others who are working for the U.S. government or the military covertly in Afghanistan or Iraq. So does that not rise to the level?
Well, no. I mean, unfortunately, the risk to lives in covert operations and military operations around the world, that's a risk that those folks take. However, that still does not rise to the level of a national survival threat. That would be something more along the lines of our nation receiving an attack from, say, again, the Chinese or the Iranians, which would be precipitated by a cyber hit first, and then conventional forces perhaps after that. So we want to be able to counter those types of attacks and not open our kimono up and show exactly what we're capable of doing in terms of defense or offense.
And Jamie, at this point as well, with so many other sites that have set up mirror sites to WikiLeaks and so much of the information out there, taking out the actual WikiLeaks website, does that even do anything? Because all the information seems to be leaking out to other places anyway.
You're right, it is a hydra with many heads, but again, I point back to the Stuxnet virus and the complexity of that virus itself. I'm not an engineer, nor am I a network IT guy. That's not what I did. However, I know that we have the capability to put a team of engineers on this thing, and if they wanted to create a virus that could track these files down and the servers that they've been sent to, and just track the electronic fingerprint of these files, they could do that. And no matter where that file is sitting, that would be a destroyed file, and perhaps even the system that it's sitting on would go down.
And Jamie, last thing here, if you can for me quickly, he has been called, Julian Assange, the founder of WikiLeaks, a high-tech terrorist by some on Capitol Hill. But in your mind, is he, at this point, a criminal or has done something criminal?
Well, at this point, I believe that our government's actions are reflective of, what he has committed up to this point, which is a violation of the Espionage Act of 1917. And if he had crossed the line into terrorism, this guy has done. If he had crossed the line into terrorism by doing what he did, we would also have charged the Russian spies with terrorism because they did the same thing, and we actually worked out a trade earlier this year for them. So he's really more in the espionage and the spying department than he is in the terrorism department. And I think that's why you're seeing a criminal prosecution move ahead as opposed to seeing Assange in an orange jumpsuit sitting in Gitmo.
All right, Jamie Smith for us this morning. We appreciate your time and your expertise. Appreciate you. Have a good week.
Thank you, too.
Well, still ahead, some heart-stopping video to show you this morning. A dramatic rescue at a subway station in Madrid, Spain.